Hello guys, here is a track guide for Okayama full, and I'm doing that with the Mazda MX-5 Cup, since I had some inquiries about that car on this track. The MX-5 is not my car of choice, but I hope that I will manage to get something together anyway. So I'm going to do this a little bit from a perspective of getting around the track safely, also maybe not going into the tricks to getting down the last couple of tenths. There are other videos for that. I can recommend Jesper Peterson. He has a YouTube account. Just Google Jesper Peterson. He goes into more details. So let's get into the cockpit, and we'll start from the start. Stop there and go back to the start. So this is the corner just before the start-finish straight. So going down the straight, of course, the T1 is right-handers. We position the car far over to the left, and braking marker here, you have a couple of things to choose from. You have the 100-meter mark and a couple of other things. I don't want to have braking marks too far away from the track, because I want to keep my eyes on the track. So what I found here is right in front of the car here, you see some skid marks, and they've been there for as long as I've been in the game. 4 years, 5 years, or 4 years I think it is now. So I use them as a reference point, and I start braking a little bit before them. As you see here, I already start easing on brakes a little bit, and it's important that here that you don't brake too slow. Too late, because if you brake too late, it's very easy that you reduce speed too much, and then you lose speed heading over to T2. So I go on brakes quite early, but I try to maintain a high speed when I pass the apex. So here we have a little sand patch on the inside, so I try to get my right tires on that, and also start going on throttle early, which is easier if you start braking a little bit earlier. You see here I start going on the throttle already, and there it's a full throttle from here. So I try not to track out too far to the left here, because you have to get all the way back up to the right, and personally I think it's a little bit easier to have if you get the right position earlier when you head for T2. So into T2, it's easy to lose the rear end here, so I try to have much balance as possible. And as you see here, I'm not braking for this turn. I lift off throttle. I may be touching the brakes tiny bit if I notice I'm going too fast, but I'm not going on brakes and then release and start turning in. I just kind of lift off throttle, and I do that, let's see, about there where the rumble strip on the right side starts, a little bit before that. So if you want to practice this, try this way quite a long distance before the green rumble strip starts here, and kind of get used to it. This is a good way, I think, because you have a good car balance, and it's also easier to get a high speed past the apex. I'm not hitting this quite right. I'm a little bit far out to the right on this lap, but anyway. So on throttle here already, mid corner, because you have a long straight coming up. Barely makes that. So full speed here. If you're chasing hundreds, if you put your left tires on the rumble strip here a little bit into the grass, you can cut a few hundreds. And also if you put your right tires on the gravel here, you can also cut a few hundreds, 5, 6, because you straighten out the line a little bit. So braking marker for this turn, you have the 100-meter mark coming up here, and if you look almost straight ahead of the car, follow the white line here, there's a sand patch coming against you, and if you look at it's like an arrow formation of the sand patch. Creates kind of an arrow formation following the white line, and then the outline of the gravel, and that is my reference point. And I start going on brakes a little bit before the arrow starts. So you see here I start going on brakes, and this is the same thing as for T1. If you go on brakes too late here, you tend to have slower speed passing apex, and that will affect your speed all the way up the hill after this turn and also on the straight. So I try to go a little bit earlier on brakes, and I'm not braking 100% here also because I'm at the same time turning in. As you see here, I have my wheel a little bit to the right, and since I'm turning, I found that it's easier to get the car to go where I want to if I'm not braking 100%. So lifting off here, and there is also a sand patch here on the inside coming up, and I try to hit that right here. It's a little bit difficult in the beginning when you start driving this track. You tend to apex too early here, so take some time, drive over to this position and have a look where that sand patch is, because that is what you're aiming for. If you hit the apex too early, you will overshoot and you will have to lift off throttle after the apex. You lose an awful lot of time. So hitting that sand patch on throttle early, go back here, see throttle goes on before the apex, full speed up the hill. And if you go on throttle before the apex and you hit the apex at the sand patch, then you will end up a little bit further out to the left side here. If you apex later, you can go up the hill here to the right side, and if you do that, you will have a higher speed at this position. But since you're going on throttle a little bit later, your top speed will suffer when you get up to the plateau or the straight. So I think this is a good position for this acceleration up the hill. So down the straight, heading for the hairpin, and here we have a 200 meter marker, and coming up is a 100 meter marker, and I aim at braking roughly at 75 meters, 65 to 75 meters. And here I see very many braking too late, and this is a turn that you can make up a lot of time if you are uncertain if you're braking at the right time or not. Do a couple of laps and then come in here and drive up to this position a little bit slower, and then change down the gears and try to use just have as high a speed as possible through the apex. Then if you're using the delta times, then you see on the red bar on the screen if you're going actually faster around the actual turn when you are preparing or setting the car up for maximum speed around it, and that could be an indicator that you're braking too late when you're trying to drive fast. So make sure that you're not too late on brakes. So there I have brakes full on, and I think that is about around here. I would say start going on brake on 80, yeah, roughly 75. And don't try to go wide here and kind of getting a better acceleration line after this apex, after this hairpin, because there is no straight after the apex, after the hairpin, where you can benefit from that wider line. The result you get from going wide here to get a better exit is that you're just driving a longer distance. You just lose time. So go for it and see if you can find the lowest speed when you go through this bend. That you try to do that late. In the turn, so I think I have my lowest speed here. See, that's 61 kilometers an hour. Yeah, that is about the lowest here. I see many drivers have their lowest speed much earlier around here, and then they kind of coast around here at the same speed. But try to go on into the turn quite hard on turning and a little bit on brakes and reducing speed, because you make up a lot of time going around. So, and then throttle on early, and so you have to be tight on to the inside so that you can go on throttle. And you don't need to track out too far to the left here either, because here you have a little bit the same thing as between T1 and T2. That if you go too far out to the left, you have to go all the way over to the right, and that would give you a bad angle going into the next left-hander. So don't go too far out to the left. So when I get up here, I get into third gear, and this is a position that I see many lose their car, and I recommend that you don't brake for this turn, but that you just lift off throttle around here. That is what I aim to do. Sometimes I have to be a little bit if I go into fast, and I notice that I have to be a little bit on brake, but this is what I aim to do. And it's the same thing here. My reference point is the sand patch coming up straight ahead in front of the car now, and so I lift off 1.5 car length or so before that sand patch start there. That's probably 2 car lengths, 2.5. So, and just engine brake, and this car turns quite well when you're engine braking, so use that. You see here I was a little bit on brake here, and just keep it turned, and you can cut this corner quite a lot. You see here I have left tires almost on the grass there, I think. Let's see, no, it's not, it's the curb, but you can cut this one more than this actually. So let's back to cockpit. And on throttle early again, you see here I'm starting to go on throttle before I apex here. And in this position you can track out very far to the right, so use that. That will give you a better line. You can be even further out to the right than this. You can have your left tires on the rumble strip. So try this, go around slowly and go further and further out to the right and see how far you can go. And I use on this turn I do the same thing as in the previous turn. I don't brake, and I just lift off. Let's see, we have there, I start lifting off, so it's roughly where the rumble strip that I have in front of me, where it ends, there I lift off. And the car turns very well, so you see I can go on throttle quite early there, and full throttle through the bend. And here you can also track out. You can have your right tires even out on the green patch on the outside of the rumble strip. Works fine. And so braking marker for this turn, I don't have anything that works for me. So I have the 100-meter marker and then the 50-meter marker here. And I brake kind of 1/4 down the road. When I have 2/4 left to the turn, then I brake. So that's about here. So I think that is about, yeah, 1/4 past it. And you go on brake, and you go for this turn. Aim for it a little bit away from don't go straight for the curb, because when you get into second gear, the car will turn a little bit extra, and then it's a risk that you go into the grass on the inside. So you see here when I downshift, you go third and then second, then it turns in better. So have a little bit of extra space there, so you see you can hit the apex, second gear, and on throttle early, and up to third again. You can do this in third gear if you're having problem with the balance of the car. It is a couple of tenths slower, but you can have a little bit rounder lines around this S combination. Going down to second gear, see there I downshifted again. I'll do that once more. Second gear through the left-hander, up to third, turning in, braking, down to third again, and then you get a little bit extra turn. And use the width of the track here, and go on throttle early. The less you turn the wheel, the faster you will go, because you scrub off speed when you turn the wheel. So this right-hander coming up here, I usually keep my eyes. There is a red car parked there up ahead, I think it is, in the forest, and about a little bit to the right, I think 3 trees to the right. I keep my eyes around there, and at this position, exactly when I see the rumble strip turning up over the crest, that's when I start turning in. I'll do that again. See the tree to the right. There is the rumble strip, turn in. And here you can be with your left tires on the rumble strip. Here I am a little bit to the further to the left. Let's see here for chase. So you can be further up to the right if you want to. Might throw your balance off a little bit, but it should be okay. So cockpit again. This is fourth gear here briefly. And here's also a turn a little bit like T1, that you don't want to brake too late because you get a little bit off balance and you will lose speed. So don't go maximum on throttle here. You see, I'm braking about 80%, 75-80%, and you need to do this while a little bit on, or at least I do that with a little bit of while turning the wheel a little bit. So on brakes, and here you also have a sand patch on the left side that I'm driving alongside here, and just where that sand patch, a little bit before that sand patch ends, I start turning into the right. See, there I start turning. So it's about 1.5 car length. And there I'm passing the end of the sand patch, then I have the wheel turned. And I'm about 60% brakes here. And coasting towards the apex. And on throttle before the apex. And start straightening out as early as possible, because the more you turn the wheel, the more speed you will scrub off. And fourth gear. So, you fast guys that watch this, you can probably find more time than this. I don't know really what the best lap time is around here this season. This is the second race in season 2015. The second season of 2015, the second time on Okayama full, so the world record list is full of lap times now for last time we were here this season. But I think that 1:49.4, 5.6 probably the fastest guys can do without off tracks, maybe faster than that. But this is my take on this track, and I hope it helped you some. So I'm gonna do this lap again without stopping. So car to the left, start braking before the skid marks. There, ease into it, downshift, hit the sand patch on the inside, on throttle early. Don't go too far to the left, get back to the right, lift off before the rumble strip on the right side. Drive as straight a line as possible here. You can go even straighter than this. You can cut the corners a little bit, gives you a couple of hundred. Start braking before the start of the sand patch. And hit the sand patch on the inside there. Throttle early. Up the hill. And for the upcoming hairpin, start brake at around 75-80 meters. There, downshift, get into second, on throttle early, get over to the right side, lift off throttle before the sand patch, on throttle before the apex, use the width of the track, lift off throttle again, no need to brake there, on throttle again. Start braking at about 40 meters here, I guess. Second gear, up to third again. Start turning in, slamming second gear to get the car to rotate. On throttle early, use the width of the track here. Start braking when the curb appears over the crest. Cut the corner, brake, and start turning in before the end of the sand patch. Track out, and that's one lap. So I hope this helped, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. That would be nice. Always get more thumbs up. So thanks for watching.